Hola Madridistas. Live.
Oh, the intro is done?
Yeah, the intro's done.
Fair enough, fair enough. Um, Apologies for that. Apologies for Jacob jumping the gun, but yeah, man, welcome back again. How are you guys doing? Tell me that first, especially after that.
Afterward, this was a fun game to watch. Usually when we don't get a win, we usually bummed out, and then because it was a really
Yeah,
bad performance, but this was like no one's fault pretty much. Like we played.
frustration is the word for me, at least. How are you guys doing?
I mean, if I have, I think this is the best game that we play in this year.
Post World Cup, I think this is the best
Yeah,
performance.
it's weird that we say this, but I agree with Jacob. It's not the same losing or tying. It's not the same feeling, I guess. But still, it's a it's a loss of points, and Barcelona
Yeah,
is moving ahead. So
5 points away, and although we have a lot to play, this season, it's I don't know how concrete I'm with this notion, but I feel like Barca is always the team that, regardless of who is missing, regardless of if they are not playing well or playing well, they tend to pick up points in La Liga. And that is gonna be, I think, the catalyst for how this La Liga turns out, because at this moment in time, we don't look like, I don't know, there's something missing. I'm pretty sure. Like the win against Atleti and the win against Villarreal were pretty decent. Like they were real morale boosters. But in my opinion, I think that we lack something. We lack that cutting edge. I mean, today the amount of chances we got, like if we are at our optimum best levels, like we are putting away at least two of them. The Vinicius chance, you know, countless Vinicius chances. The Rodrigo chance, which I think was a last ditch block by uh,
Zubeldia.
Zubeldia. Exactly. So yeah, like Zubeldia and who was the other kid? Yeah, Kubo. We know him pretty well.
yeah,
They were pretty damn good, man. I'm not gonna take anything away from Sociedad tonight. Missing 8 9 key players. Having to again sub out their wing back in the second half. Like it wasn't ideal for Sociedad by any stretch of the imagination, but you could see that when facing Sociedad that they are a team that is coming into this matchup with like 9 9 10 games undefeated in the league. So they looked very composed. They didn't crumble. They didn't get intimidated. Sorloth could have made it easy 1-0 in the first 10 minutes or so. So the signs were there. The signs were there. But yeah, man. Um, it, Again, frustration is the key word for tonight. Um, like Jacob said, like I don't have any qualms with like how we performed. I'm pretty sure if the if the players go back into the dressing room and speaks about this among themselves and kind of talk this out, they would say the next time they come out, like they would pray, they would actually pray for the team to be as fluid tonight. And probably they can have that confidence that, okay, if we make so many chances, the next time we are out on the pitch, we're definitely scoring more goals. But yeah, man, one of those days. Also, another shout out to Alex Ramiro, man. 18 clean sheets, 15 clean sheets or something. Like he has been insane for Sociedad. So many times when you think that he's not getting there, Alex Ramiro somehow finds a way to parry the ball away. Um, yeah, let's get into it, I guess. Jacob, come Avinga, man, talk to me.
Before we head into the details, we have Taz Saliba in the comments. A lot of his comments were deleted by the bot, but he was just saying he was so pissed at tonight's performance, and then he was just he's looking forward to the Liverpool game because it's gonna be the weakest Liverpool side in a long while. But it's like our La Liga performance are so disappointing, so he feels unsure if we're gonna be able to capitalize on that. We can get into that, but yeah. Anyway, about Kamavinga, uh, he had a really good game in places especially going forward. He had some good combinations with Vinny, Rodrigo. However, he got beaten a couple of times as well, and naturally because this is not his natural position as a left back. He got beaten and taken for a ride by Kubo multiple times as well.
For me, I wouldn't criticize Kamavinga so much because, like you said, it's not his natural position, and he had tremendous work rate, man. Like I can't give him any slack tonight. The reason why I started with Kamavinga because he has been sort of this enigma for the last couple of weeks by how well he has handled himself and how well he has kind of grabbed the opportunities. Because when you actually look closely, I think it might not be much, but he has a better understanding with Vinny. I don't know how. I mean, like at least these last 1.5 games I've seen Kamavinga consistently at left back. Like they seems to know where each other needs to be. And Kamavinga has this underrated trait. He has a sensational timing for a pass. I don't know. It's I think it's quite natural to him because he's a midfielder, but he has a knack to play the ball in the right moment. And yeah, man, for him, I guess this is another stepping stone into cementing a place in a starting 11. Remember, Fede also came in such a role whereby nobody exactly knew where we are going to fit him in, but Kamavinga seems to be really, really stepping up. Javier, do you have anything to add about Kamavinga?
Yeah, quite a lot, I think. First of all, I will start with saying that Camavinga as a left back is a patch, at least in this moment in his career.
Yeah.
It's not like when they move Lucas Vasquez to fit in the right back position because it's more like, oh, this is the end of your career. I don't think we should extend this any further than whatever it takes Mendy or uh, anyone to be back at this position because, like you said, in the first half, yeah, I think, yeah, Camavinga and Vini understands them very good, but it is because Camavinga tends to move to the center as a midfield and then gives everything on the wing to Vini to attack. So it's not on combinations that they understand, but it is on movements of their position in the field. So for me, it's not quite a good game for either of the, for Camavinga, especially when we talk about the instance when he needs to defend. He defends poorly every single time because, like we said, he's not a defender. He tries and he most often than not recovers or attack the play because he's so fast and he has such a huge body movement. But against someone like, I don't know, like this Alira said, like someone like Liverpool's attackers, it's not going to work because those guys they have one chance and they create one goal.
Mm.
As
Yeah.
simple as that. So today we're lucky that yeah, Kubo played a fantastic game, but his physical dominance is nothing compared to Eduardo. So that's the only reason that why Kubo didn't score today, for me at least.
Mm. Yeah, man. I kind of agree with some of the criticisms that you guys have noted about Kamavinga, but like we have saying, this is a learning process for him, and you might never know. In 3 weeks, there won't be any other alternative but to actually maybe start Kamavinga because Mendy's return date. The last time I read it was like 3 weeks away or something. So it is kind of close to call it what kind of a left back position that we are going to be looking at in 3 weeks time. But
Just
Kamavinga,
to be clarified, Sonny, sorry, I'm not
sorry,
criticizing Eduardo. I'm criticizing the fact that we don't have another left back. You know,
yeah.
as a patch, it's impressive, yeah, but it's not a solution. Long-term solution is not.
Mm. We never really work with solutions, do we, have? Yeah, last year we won the Champions League with makeshift right winger
Yeah,
in Fede. So we kind of never do it the right way. For us, we are not a normal footballing institution. Let's call a spade a spade. But yeah, I would like to actually go through some comments here. Lol was actually saying, I'm happy with this game, to be honest. I think we are back on form while Barca is going on a low. Well, yeah, I heard that they had a tough time against Girona and they scored via like a goalkeeper mistake or something. But come on, man, it's Girona. They are bound to put up a good fight.
but
I didn't see the game personally.
I just watched the highlights, and tomorrow
Mm,
the newspaper is gonna say Barca win, Real Madrid loss. It doesn't matter the sensation of
yeah,
games, you know.
absolutely.
We don't. This is not our game, you know. Like last year
Mm,
when Barca was playing bad, they said, well, at least, sorry, when they were losing or losing points, they're saying like, oh, at least we are playing good. No one remembers that. The only thing that everyone remembers is that Real Madrid win the La Liga. So
yeah,
in order to us to compete
absolutely.
once again, we should move on to this. Yeah, I agree with all the comments, and Doris, I think she's in the chat supporting, but it was a good game, yes, but we
Mm,
need to focus on the main thing. We tie again, yeah, against the third La Liga place, and I think he's the best team outside their home. I think Real Sociedad is the best, but but a tie is a tie. You know, it doesn't matter if you tie to the worst team or the best team,
the
and
the the most stinging bit is that Sociedad were missing key members of the squad. You know, key players in key positions. They were absolutely missing them tonight, and we couldn't capitalize on it. And trust me, a long 38 sprint season comes down to games like this, where that one goal would have made the difference. You never know. You never know. The race is kind of wide open at this moment in time. It's only end of January, so there is still like a whole 4 months or so to play. But looking at from this point onward, yes, we do have European commitments. Barca also has their fair share of European commitments in the Europa League. Um, but I would say that they can be much more focused on La Liga to like put all their baskets. I mean, put all their eggs into basically. Like they don't want to rely on Europa League much, like we do on the Champions League. So I feel like this La Liga season is ours to lose. Is ours to lose because we have the potential and we have the strength in character to actually claw back a deficit like we have done it before. I'm pretty sure like why we can't do it again. Winning at the Camp Nou is not going to be easy, but we bet them already once this season, so I fully expect to put up something special in the reverse fixture. But yeah, that's for another time. I'm gonna go back to some of the comments. Tasaliba says, let's see, we win in Camp Nou, but we can't be affording to lose these points, I guess he's saying. Tasaliba also says, and it's typical Real Madrid. God, I wasn't so angry since ages. Yeah, looking by the performance, you can't be angry, but I get the gist, like it's 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 normal to be frustrated at a 0-0 when we had like a gazillion chances to like make it an absolute rout. But yeah, man, football games are funny. This for a fact that like even when you're actually playing out of your skin. Like you don't necessarily get out of the match with what you deserve. Like that's football. Like it's a funny game. Um, yeah, Tasaliba also says, man, if we lose to this poor Liverpool side, well, that is in 3 weeks' time. We can't discount Liverpool, man. Like they're having a bad moment. They lost against Brighton earlier this morning. I saw bits of the game. Brighton are a very phenomenal side. I mean, so we can't discount Liverpool yet. I'll be honest. Tasaliba also says it should have been like gods versus peasants. Now we are peasants against Spanish peasants. See, I was someone like that who had this superiority complex, basically, probably a decade ago. But La Liga's landscape has changed so much that we can't really afford to do that anymore, do we, Jacob?
Well, you said it all right. Teams are improving, especially with this Real Sociedad team. Like they've been so good on the ball and off the ball. I think they've conceded almost the same goals as us, just not saying much, but they have been so good going forward as well. For a team of their caliber, Emmanuel has really put emphasis on the attacking part of this game, and they always play a really beautiful football, even if they don't end up scoring all of their chances.
Very patient. You know,
And it's
playing the
like,
ball out of the back. They know what they're coming up against, but they never lost composure.
and they were missing so many key players like Mikel Merino, their highest assist maker, David Silva, who's so important to their play. That's the reason. That's the only reason why they got bossed in midfield by Cruz and Ceballos. Otherwise, like with just two of them in the midfield and then Valverde roaming around, I don't think we could have had this much of a comprehensive performance in midfield. So yeah, the La Liga is improving. Real Sociedad are a really good team, but it's just so sad that we couldn't capitalize on their weak moment and on our strong moments.
Ashik says bye bye La Liga season.
I mean, I watching the comments as well. I think we tend to polarize everything. I think we're not there yet. I think if any team, Barca or Real Madrid, goes ahead for margin of 2 digits, I think that's game over. You know, if at this moment we're 5 behind, right? So
Sorry?
we're 5 points behind Barca, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think we have one more game. That's it. If
Yeah, the
if the
pending game is
difference
against
is more
Valencia.
than 2 digits, is that's the end. Because you still have the game against we still have the game against Barca and a tie with anyone. So because the the difference will be in our favor, but it's not game over yet. But I think, like you said perfectly, we have more to lose because Barca, I think Barca is gonna get eliminated by Man U. I think Man U is a very solid team in
I
this.
hope so.
And this Man U is better than this Liverpool. So in that regard, they can easily say that they have a stronger opponent than us. So I agree with them. But if they get eliminated, the La Liga is gonna be their main priority. Same as Liverpool in this moment. Like you said, like they are, I don't know, 15 points behind Arsenal. So Premier League is gone for them. I think they're out of the two cups. So for Liverpool, it's only Champions League, and this is dangerous for us. So yeah, we
Yeah.
have more to lose, but that's the Real Madrid way. You cannot lose every single tournament if you're not competing in them. You know, it's not the same that we are competing in La Liga, we are competing in La Copa del Rey, we are competing the Super Copa of Spain. We lost yet, but it was in the final. We're gonna go to the World Cup in, I don't know, 10 days or so, because we won Champions League. So even if the results are not great, we're still being in the position to compete in those tournaments. So for me, it's important because, like you said, I think you and I said it the last time we were together. We are so often forget that we came from a lot of years that in this moment we are completely out of everything, or only have one competition or maybe two competitions. In this moment, we have the three main ones. So this is important. The team needs to content this moment. And you said, like, I think in the dressing room, the players are gonna be mad today, but Carlos, the one who's gonna say, like, you, it's okay to be mad today. Tomorrow we can talk about all the things that we did good and the things that they need to improve. You know, I mean, knowing some of the players, I think they're gonna get mad because that's the spirit of the game in our team. To be mad when the result is not winning. But a great manager like Carleto is, he's gonna say, like, okay, it's okay to be mad today. Tomorrow we can move to the next and talk about the key moments, because, like, we're gonna talk about it. I mean, for the first, I don't know, 15 to, from the minute 15, there was the Bini play until the 45. I think is one of the best Real Madrid football that we saw this season.
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. Let me get into that, because for me that was hands down the best football that we have seen in a long time, like you said, Javier. But Jacob, like, was that gung ho approach kinda maybe Ancelotti basically letting the shackles off to kinda take advantage of Sociedad? Because I couldn't nail down a set formation, especially in the first half, and there were so many interchanges. Rodrigo was sometimes on the right wing, sometimes he was playing as a second striker. But I think the only constant was maybe Cruz playing a deeper role. But apart from that, like, everyone was like all over the pitch, and it seemed to like overwhelm Sociedad for large parts.
Exactly. Like we even saw Vinny on the right side having a couple of dribbles. Rodrigo had really good moments with their left back. Nacho had a pretty decent game, combining well, and Valverde as well. So what stood out for me in this first half is, like, obviously saw it was such a great game. All the passing combinations were going off. But the thing is that we just didn't focus on one side going forward. So I just pulled up some stats, and it was like we had 5 attacks on the left, 10 attacks on the right, and just 1 attack through the middle. So that means, like, we try to stretch
We
that.
were in that left heavy tonight. I noticed that.
Exactly, like that was so refreshing to see, and that was really hard for Sociedad to deal with. And I feel like we should employ this tactic going forward as well. Like, even if teams can overwhelm us in the middle of the park, we should be capitalizing on our strong point, which is like we have decent wingers on the right and left hand side. We should use both of those sides instead of just going with one. And
I think it's more due to the fact that Rodrigo kind of, as per reports, say he prefers a bit like a role like maybe inward, down the middle, instead of being out wide. And maybe, just maybe, the left heavy attacks that we often see from us is because of the fact that, like, it is just Vinicius and Benzema who can combine on the left, and like, um,
come on, are you
but
telling
yeah,
me
this
Valverde and Rodrigo can't like combine on the right?
they can't they can combine, but I feel like the team is more confident and kind of gravitate towards the left because like they maybe have more faith
It's
in
been
Vini
like
and
it's been
Benzema to
like that
pull off
for
something.
it's been like that for the past 10 years with Marcelo, Cristiano, then Vinicius.
Yeah,
The team is set up to like attack through
so
the
it's a
left.
left hand curse, you're saying.
Yeah.
In
Well, like,
the, I don't know if you guys ever watch the American football, but
I
it's
don't watch it.
almost like every single time they attack, it's that way. You have
Mm.
your strong side, and you put the lineman in the side. So whenever you are going to the left, to the left, to the left, every single time, that's the only reason when no one expect to attack on the right. So I mean, I understand that this is the way for us. I mean, if I can rely on attacking Nacho or attacking Schwamini, sorry, Eduardo, I will always back off uh, Camavinga because Nacho is not fast enough, is not good enough. I get it. In this part of the season, like you said, yeah, Real Sociedad has a key players missing, but once again, we are without our two starting backs. You know, it's not Carvajal, it's not Mendy, and we didn't have that many, uh, you know,
Yeah.
errors for
Well,
Nacho or
I'll argue that still Sociedad managed to nick a few chances here and there. Like they had a very neat few combinations, especially involving Kubo. Like Bryce Mendes looked bright. Oyarzabal, I don't think he was fully fit. Like he was a shadow of himself. Sorloth, who has been fantastic for large parts of this season, also kind of looked like he wasn't up for it. But even then, man, Sociedad still put up a fight. That's why, like, I'm gonna go through some of the comments again. Ashik says same teams that play their heart out against us fold against Barca. It is a very biased perspective, but I feel you, man. Tonight, it's okay to let it out.
but I'm not
That's
agreeing. This, if you watch the Real Sociedad game against Barca,
mm,
they lose, yeah, but they're still attacking without one man left. And I think it was Sorlo that missing a chance that, like, I don't know, 2 meters from the goal. And in the 96 minutes or so, they have a
mm,
huge chance. I mean, it is most often than not that the teams play their best against us and they, what's the expression? Uh,
fold,
fold their
fold.
hands against Barca.
That's it.
But it's not the case for Real Sociedad. I
Yeah,
agree with that the case for most teams, especially Atletico and things like that,
yeah.
but not today for Real Sociedad, and not
that
and not
that
midweek
sentiment.
on Wednesday.
Sorry.
They play on Wednesday against Barcelona, and they play really good. I mean, uh,
Betis, right? Yeah.
they get a red card against. I think it was a tackle against Pedri or so, but this Real Sociedad is a very good team.
Very good side, very good side. Like they have always been a very good side, like despite so many managers and players going in and out. But yeah, like there's 2630 odd of you in the chat. Would appreciate it if you guys smash the like button and hit subscribe if you haven't, because we are here after every game, before every game. Yeah, man, like if you guys love what we do, yeah, like smash the like button. Tas Aliba says, we literally played against the B team. It was like a fucking free 3 points. Yes, absolutely. Sociedad was there for the taking. Man. We did everything right today except one minor thing, score a bloody goal. Tas Aliba says, I can't believe we just did this, but yet again we do this every year. Yes, yes, yes. It is a sad side, because I prepare myself for this mentally, physically. Like after we hit that October, usually the first classic was October. So until then, I expect the team to be good because there is like real significant landmarks in the season, like where we need to um, cross into the knockouts from the Champions League group stage, and then we need to win the first Clasico, the first El Derby. So there is stakes, genuine stakes. But then from October, November, December, Jan, it is a lull. Like that has always been the case all throughout my time following our club. It's always been the lull period. So I kind of get ready for this, but even then, for a game like tonight, where it gave me so much hope. Like when you see that the team couldn't kick on and score the decisive goal and cut the gap at the top back to 3. Disappointing to say the least. But yeah, let's get into some of the performances, man. Militao, Jacob, what did you think of Eder Militao
Yeah,
tonight?
like I just wanted to touch on like the point you said, right?
Someone's notification beep is going on. Please mute it if you can. Yeah,
Mm, well, how was that
go
you?
on, Jacob.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways,
That's weird.
cool. No, before I head into the performances of this game, I just wanted to point out like we know this team, we like to switch it on after January or maybe after like a Clasico or two after we have a bad couple of games. But the reason like this La Liga season worries me is that this is like the best Barcelona defense we've seen in like probably a decade. They haven't been conceding goals and defense wins titles. Like we can't afford to do this anymore. Be inconsistent for like large parts of the season and then come back into the game, try to win back La Liga because Barcelona are not gonna let up with this defense. And and this season, like that has been our weak point as well. We have it's so hard to come by a clean sheet, and today was like we did concede a few chances like early on, like stupid chances. We managed to almost dominate them the whole game, but then we do still manage to somehow have a brain fart in defense, allow a shot on goal. We saw a couple of times with Kubo and Oyarzabal as well, with especially early on in the first half with Sorloth as well. It was an early cross, and then none of our defense went for it, including Militao. So even though we dominate huge parts of the game with this defense, with the Militao, Rudiger putting in clutch performances, it's like we do have these brain farts, and then that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I agree completely. For me, Militao was the better centre back, but Rudiger still needs to polish some of his, like sharp edges. But yeah, man, Javier, anything to add on our defense? Nacho had a quite a game by his standards. Got an unnecessary yellow, trying to lunge in to win back the ball. Yeah, man, Javier.
And that could easily turn a red in the second half with the
Yeah,
obstruction of the ball. But in the defense, we got, I mean, we're we're not there yet. Like last season, Thibaut is there, and Militao is impressive. I mean, this guy can run and run and keep running and keep running, and he attacks. This game almost ended with him as a number 9. Uh, but I think he's the only true starting man in the defense. With the other 3 being a patch, and Rudiger didn't have a good game. I think if I have to choose the the
best pick of the back line. Who would it be?
the best is
Yeah,
easily Militao, but hands down, like Militao today was I think at least 8,
yeah.
uh, and next
Sorry to cut you in, Javier. So I noticed the ESPN commentators mentioning that like Carlo has been giving out comments in the media saying that Militao is one of the world's best when he's focused. I guess he's listening to our podcast on his off time, you know, because I've always said this that if Militao sharpens up his senses, he is unplayable. Has the physique, has the pace, has the power. Like I think he's pound for pound, the best young centre back in Europe. I don't think anyone comes close, like but he tends to have his erratic moments. But yeah, man, like when Alaba is actually missing in action and Rudiger is put into deputize, like you kind of appreciate how great Militao is basically.
And not just in defense, right? He had those dribbling sequence in the last game, and this game he had a
Yeah,
couple of back heels and then good sequences going forward as well, combining with the forwards.
and a really good long ball. I think
very
he
good long
tried
ball.
to connect with Benzema at least 3 times.
Benzema always looks for it, and Benzema kind of expected so much now that if he
Yeah,
doesn't play the obvious over the top ball to him, he
yeah,
gets frustrated.
I
I
mean,
see always.
and he covers even for
Yeah.
in the left side. He tends to even cover Camavinga because it was supposed to be Rudiger's job, but he's so impressive that he even do that. Like it's okay. He's overconfident. I mean, if we are gonna talk about later the player of the game, for me, I have my opinion, but close second will be probably Militao.
Mm, fair enough. Ancelotti says transfer market. It's closed for us. Nobody arrives. Nobody leaves. Oh, like we didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Carlo. Thanks for letting us know.
shocking.
That's absolutely shocking. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. But yeah, going through some of the comments again. Ashik B with something witty. He says Take helped La Real take a point from Bernabeu. He's not supposed to take anything. No pun intended, but yeah, man, Kubo was balling out. I'm really happy for him. I'm very happy for him because there was a point in time where we thought that Takefusa Kubo can't really cut it at the top level in La Liga, but he actually seems to be making strides. I hope he has the same trajectory that Odegaard has. Like obviously the ceiling that both players, uh, uh, the projected ceilings of both players are not like kind of on the same plane, but Takefusa Kubo is making waves. I'll just keep it at that. But moving on to the midfield, man, Cruz, Ceballos, and Fede Valverde. Boy, oh boy. Cruz was okay. Ceballos was eye catchy. I'm not gonna lie. It was very, very nifty with some of his close control and yeah, man, very neat exchanges in tight spaces, overlapped whenever needed. Ceballos is playing out of his skin. Not gonna lie, I've never seen this guy play with so much intensity. I'm not gonna lie, like he he's he's really stepping up. But Fede, man, yeah, like he had a few nice interchanges. Had one good shot maybe out of the four that was like bumped into Rosie. But yeah, for me at least, the most frustrating performance, was Fede Valverde. Jacob, what's your thoughts on our midfield trio tonight?
First of okay, the midfield as a whole was great. Like we said, Sociedad were missing so many key players in that part of the pitch, and we certainly capitalized on that. With especially Ceballos like mopping up every single loose pass and having really good control over that part of the pitch. Cruz as well, like you said, Cruz was okay, but in the first half he had like zero misplaced passes. He had 100% pass completion rate. He was winning all his duels. With Fede, I mean, we've been complaining on this for a while now. He just isn't like seeming to taking players on. He isn't open to really going in and then going in for the kill. He has been good combining with the players with Rodrigo and Nacho on the right. Like we said, we
Layoff to Cruz has been kind of becoming a signature move, nowadays.
absolutely. And before the World Cup, and each and every single one of his shot, it used to go on target, no matter what angle he took it from. If it was a volley, if it was from a difficult angle, it doesn't matter. He was putting it all on target. And this game, like he was kind of off the pace, especially with the shots. Apart from that, I have like it was basically a 6 out of 10 performance. Like there are no big faults, but he didn't set the world alight as well.
Fair point, fair point. Yeah, man, Fede. I like I had actually spoken about this earlier that like he might be dealing with some personal issues, and we got to know what they were a couple of days ago. I hope like he gets back to his very best, man. We need him. Like I said in the chat, like we need this guy firing. He is so integral to how we operate, especially in big games where we need his uh, three lungs to do the extra shift for us. But Javier, man, your thoughts on our midfield?
I mean, I agree with you both. I think uh, when we start this today's show, you said like you know what are we missing. I think it's the best Fede and the best Benzema, because everyone else was at the peak of their performance today. And like you said, we know why Fede is a little out. I mean, I will be completely off. I hope his family move to this bad situation as fast as possible. But that being said, I think we need to to start with. I mean, if you ask me in this moment, the best midfield that we can manage to put is Chouameni and Ceballos and Camavinga. I mean,
Huge
what
shout. So Cruz and Modric doesn't make it to the starting level. Yeah.
at this moment, no. But it's not like Carlos said, like they don't need to start every single game. And
Yeah.
for me, what Ceballos is bringing to the table is so special because uh, he attacks. He's everywhere. I mean, I was watching, especially him in the first half. Every single time that a Real Madrid player has the ball, he was asking for the ball with his right hand, like give me the ball every single time he tends to make a play with anyone. And he often was the very first to go to recover the ball. So that's the only reason that I think Carlos substituted him today, because he was out, because he was everywhere. I mean, yeah, on
The
paper,
walk rate is insane from
on
Danny.
paper, Tony Kroos was the defensive midfield, but actually, it was it was Ceballos, and Fede was in the first half. I think Fede was from less to more, but it's not. I think this is 70% Fede.
Mm.
I think 70% Fede is not. Um, it will be probably better as a substitute in this moment.
Mm.
And the same
Good
regardless
shout.
Modric, I think.
I think if Carlo actually had someone like Arribas in midfield, I don't know why he doesn't opt to, shoot him straight up into the first team, but that's for another show. But if he had someone else, like I'm pretty sure that Fede would be on the bench, and I think he needs a little while, maybe a couple of weeks on the bench, coming on as an impact sub. That's gonna do wonders. You saw how Rodrigo actually does when he comes off from the bench. So yeah, man, like I think he needs a little time off. I mean, it's only fair. It's only fair. Um, yeah, like some comments that I need to quickly get into. Chila, I was asking, who do you think Real Madrid will sign this year in 2023? And I guess Jacob already replied, Fran Garcia and Bellingham. Yeah, Fran Garcia looks pretty cheap and looks like a deal that we should be keen to get it over the line, and I hope we do. It is pretty straightforward. As for Bellingham, it remains to see. It remains to see. Yeah, man, but fingers
Starting
crossed.
right back. We need
Huh?
we need an starting right back.
Yeah,
We cannot
for
we
sure.
cannot
But
rely on Carvajal on getting injured.
I know, but the target so far that is realistic, basically for our club, has all been gone. Pedro Porro moved to Tottenham. I think a couple of days ago. Um, Realistically, for me, the options are very low. So I would probably look at how Vinicius Tobias is doing, at least before the window starts in the summer, and then move accordingly. Because yeah, man, it doesn't look great. Our wing backs, like we have discussed so many times, are so crucial to how we operate, and when they lack, we slack. That's how it is. Yeah, man. Again, a reminder for all the people in the chat. 52 of you guys, yeah, appreciate all the love that you guys are, giving us. Smash the like button if you haven't. Subscribe to us if you haven't already. We would appreciate it a lot. Yeah. Also, Ashik says we struggle in Jan because that's the way the players gain from all the holiday food. Well, that is a very fairly simple human explanation. Saliba says, well, don't give up. That's the mentality that we learned supporting this club. I hope it's not a Serguen. I didn't understand that, but Ashik B says we are not.
And then we lost connection for maybe 50 seconds.
Are we
Yeah.
back online?
We're back online.
Oh, okay. We lost connection for 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Now we are
No,
in
we're
the
good.
same link. We are live, right?
Yeah. Very good.
Okay, fair. So where should we retract from again? The
I
attack
would
again?
I would say you were just going off of the comments. After that, yeah, let's go with the attack.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's start with the attack. Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Benzema. For me, at least in my opinion, like orchestrated some very methodical attacking play, where I think Sociedad's defenders had a very tough time, kind of trying to guess which way our players would go. Jacob, like, were you impressed with how on the front foot we were compared to so many games that we have seen in this post World Cup phase of the season?
Yeah, I was really like happy to see Vinicius especially having a really good game because each and every one of his take-ons he managed to complete or get into a good position or play the pass off. It wasn't like in previous games where we saw him struggle against his fullback, against the center backs, and taking the wrong decisions. Like in this game, it all came off, and it was just the final like simple finish that was missing, I guess, for Vinny. And it wasn't to say that he missed an open goal or anything, but it was still like really solid chances. He could have had better shots, and on any other day, like some of those would have gone in. As for our attack with Benzema, like he managed to like you said, manufacture a lot of good chances for Rodrigo and Vinny, but he himself just couldn't get into like the right spots. It was always either Rodrigo or Vinny combining together or laying it off to Cruz or Valverde. It was never a really good position for Benzema to keep because defenders were always on him, like Zubeldi and the other guy in Sociedad defense. Like they did a really good job of marking Benzema basically, and I feel like that was the reason we couldn't really score because he is our most clinical player, and if we just cut him out, and then it's up to Vinny and Rodrigo to
But we know
finish
for the fact that if it was Benzema of last season, he's putting one at the back of the net, like out of nothing
out of
tonight.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
This game, like yeah, those two center backs, you have to hand it to them. Like, they had phenomenal performances, and then they just marked him out of the game. So Pence did what he could, but it wasn't enough for this game.
Mm, yeah. But quick thoughts on Benzema, man. Like, do you think he's getting back to his very best, or do you think there is still time needed?
I think he is back to his best. It's not like he's having any bad touches or he's like misplacing his passes in going forward in counterattacks or anything.
He had one very bad shot, which I think went almost to a corner, if you remember,
He
in
did.
the game, which made me kind of rub my eyes because those were the type of things I used to associate with him when he used to be not so prolific back in the day. So
He is getting back into it. I would say like as soon as the Champions League rolls out, we will see almost 80% peak Benzema that we saw last season.
that's the case with the club, right? Like we don't switch on until February rolls in. But yeah, man, Javier Rodrigo, he has been stepping up. He has been really making a case for himself these past few weeks. How do you think that he has performed tonight? Like, is it like you expected, a step in the right direction where he can contribute from anywhere across the pitch in the front line?
Yeah, yeah. I think this is the right step as the whole team, but especially for players like Rodrigo and Ceballos, because those two tend to move every single place in the midfield and the attacking. I think Rodrigo said it and Ancelotti said it. He likes to play as number 10 behind the striker. And I know I know why he likes to play that position, because I watch him every single time, and this is one of the players that he make everything look so easy. You know,
Yeah.
it's impressive. Like almost everything that he does it right.
So effortless. When you see Vinicius going on a gallop, like you can't expect from watching Vinny that, oh my God, he's gonna do something crazy. But Rodrigo, one moment he's looking well, he doesn't know where to go, but the next moment he has done you. He's
Yeah.
done you with a couple of neat touches. That's it, nothing extravagant. So yeah, man, Rodrigo for me has has really surprised even his biggest fan probably in the world. That is me. So yeah, I'm
But
really happy that he's kind of bouncing back from that World Cup. Uh,
we're so lucky, and I cannot stress this stuff enough, that if we haven't had Bini, we're gonna be mad about Rodrigo. But if we didn't have Rodrigo, the same way around, like this is the very special moment that we have two of the most impressive youngsters in the world, and both of them are in our team. And like we said, they play so different. So, I mean, I don't know what's the ceiling of those two guys, but watching them playing together it's a joy.
it's a joy.
And
It's a joy.
and and today, if you allow me, I especially focus on Bini. And in the first half, like I said, every single 5 minutes, Bini create a huge chance out of nowhere. Only Bini, like the first was the 15 chance that he creates.
Basically, nutmegs Zubeldia.
Yeah, next is the in the right wing when he attacks and moves to Fede. Then the pass to I think it's cross when he shoots. Then to Benzema, and then once again from Benzema to Bini, and the end of the first half. And in the second half, it's almost the same. Probably not every 5 minutes or so, but he creates, I don't know, like 5 chances. He had not so good
That
game.
chance though, Javier, that chance that Vinny had where he's through on goal and he tried to kind of chip Ramiro, I think that was the chance that I was so mad against because come on, man, like you gotta give him the eyes and probably slot it on the right, towards the right of Ramiro, probably, far corner.
You said that in the second half,
Yeah,
right?
in the second half. Yeah, for me, Vinicius, I know, right? Like, see, we have been watching this guy for like 3 years or so. We know what his strengths are, and it's definitely not finishing. So, but even then, when you get the amount of chances that he makes it for himself, like you said, like he's not your average player who relies on other elements to fall into place for a chance to take form. He basically does that for himself, but when he doesn't finish those chances, it's borderline frustrating. It's borderline frustrating to watch. Jacob, like, do you think that we can actually work around a less clinical Vinicius this time around, or do you think that he is kind of on par with his finishing how he was same time last year?
I would say early on in the first half of the season in last year, he was really clinical. Like he was putting in shots that we weren't expecting him to. But afterwards, if you notice, like most of his goals, it was clearer chances than this. Like the goalkeepers were in a worse position. He had a better angle on goal, and then those kind of chances we can still expect we need to put on goal and then finish it off. But these kind of harder chances where you have to take like a faster touch or position your body better, like we're gonna continue to see him struggle this season at least. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do think it's a downward trajectory for him, at least in terms of
Feel like
finishing.
I feel like he hasn't dropped off too much. It's just that he's
The
not
finishing hasn't improved as you expected.
exactly. It hasn't been like a steady climb. As it
Mm.
is with these younger players, like we can't expect them to grow year on year be better and better. Some years they do have to take a step back, but I'm pretty
But
sure
I think this season, more than last season, we need him
we
to
need.
be actually wearing his shooting boots. I mean, I do fear for us if Vinicius doesn't fix his finishing um, before before Anfield and the crunch Champions League phase. I fear for us, man. I fear for us because the whole of Europe is awaiting our downfall. Like they want us to be knocked out at the earliest as possible because these men fear us, man. These men fear us, and we need to kind of take that into account and really go for it. I
Exactly.
feel like if
Our
yeah,
like last two top scorers, I mean, after Benzema, it was Vini and Valverde. They haven't scored in La Liga since October, which is a crazy stat.
man, man, that's insane. I didn't know that. Oh my God, since October?
Since October.
Yeah, but I think it's a little tricky. You know, we didn't play in November and December.
Yeah, I know. I do understand that, but even then, it's come on, man, come on.
It's
Like,
five
But
games without a goal, basically.
but Jacob said it perfectly. I think this is the right move to Bini. You know, like every other single season he missed, like
yeah,
90% chance of goal. Today he creates those chances and yeah, he misses. But I mean, for me, even the one that you say, Sonnet, I think is a good play by the goalkeeper, a good save by the goalkeeper, more than an error for Bini, especially in the he make the right choices. All the finishes on the plays that today Bini made was the right choice. Finishing, and he tries so often to pass Benzema when he was in the clear, or tries to make a gamble when he needs to shoot. Those errors weren't there today. He he lack of inches every single time. But it's even name the goal scorer. Even Cristiano had a bad game. But it's the move in the right position. And yeah, we need Bini, like we said, because we didn't have this prime Benzema. Last year we have Ballon d'Or Benzema. So we didn't rely on Bini to score every single game. Now we do because it's not the fault of Bini. We need the best Benzema.
mm, absolutely. I mean, that is what lol is saying. When he was special today, honestly, he just met an informed keeper. I alluded to that earlier that Alex Ramiro had a blinder tonight. Like he was a man mountain. Very hard to beat. I think he was one of the main reasons why they left the Bernabeu with a clean sheet, man. Like it's the first La Liga game, or I think it's the first game in all comps that we didn't score. Or am I wrong, Jacob?
You're right. We have been able to score every game for for the season until now.
Mm, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. See, that's the thing. Also, lol says about Benzema, which we're going to move on to. I wanted to bring this up because it's a very good point. He's saying he's playing like 2019 Benz, not 2020 or 2021 Benzema. Good link up, but not clinical enough. That's the I think the perfect way to actually sum up Benzema. For me, when Benzema is at his sharpest, he moves different, man. Come on, he moves different. He bullies players, like he has that edge to him that I've him win it, seen him win the Ballon d'Or last season because of it. Like he has that extra bite to him. But now the current version of Benzema that we see post his injury niggles, throughout the World Cup phase and whatnot, is not up there quite yet. Like I feel like if he doesn't perform out of his skin like he did last season, we are in for a long day. Um, Jacob, Javier, like, come on, man. Tell me what do you guys think of Benzema's season so far? I mean, as per stats, minutes to goals ratio, it doesn't look so bad. But the greater picture doesn't seem that bright, does it?
I think among us, like what, 15 goals so in all competitions, 5 of those have been pens, which Vinny or Rodrigo have won. So that skews the data a bit. The pure fact is that we have been clinical so far, at least this season. Like these past couple of games, we have been giving Benzema and Vinny like good combinations and good positions to score from. But till that, they have been forced to manufacture that stuff on their own. Like they have gotten little to no support from the rest of the attack, which was like the main topic of discussion throughout the season. And so I feel like that has hurt Benzema a lot, and he isn't as used to getting those chances and getting into that position as like in last season. So as I think we should just keep giving these two players a chance, giving them more chances, and then once they get into like a decent run of games, I feel like then they'll move into that position naturally instead of sticking back, helping the play go forward, and then they'll just be in the position to score. And I feel like games like these will help Benzema to get to that level again.
Mm, yeah, I've noticed this. Okay, so see, I've always been vocal that I'm not the biggest tactician in our panel or anywhere else, but um, he tends to do this thing whereby he drops so deep so that by the time he gets back up, the chance is gone, or we don't have a clear outlet other than Vini and stuff like that. But I kind of recall this from our brilliant Champions League run in the knockouts last season, that when it mattered the most, Benzema doesn't drop deep that much. He kind of hangs around in and around the opposition box and kind of sniffs around, expecting a chance to fall his way. But days like this, you see him kind of not basically occupying the position that he's on the pitch for, which kind of frustrates me, like more than when he's kind of a bit off his usual sharpness. But Javier, your thoughts on Benzema, man?
I mean, I couldn't agree more with what Jacob said. Like, I think we need to keep pushing to Benzema to be every single minute, because, like we said, this kind of movements in the attacking line with Bini and Rodrigo moving every single way around, we know that the perfect Benzema is going to play perfectly in this. The prime Benzema is going to be fit perfectly in that um, is kind of game. Benzema has never been a static forward. He loves to move. He loves to create chances, and I mean, he understands. I think he understands better with Rodrigo because they play so similar. But with Bini, it's, I don't know how to explain. Like it's almost feel like very natural with Rodrigo and very like sentimental with Bini. It's a gut feeling. Those two understand with the gut, and the other two understand with their mind. And when those three click, it's pure magic. So we need to push these um, situations to happen, because more often than not, we're gonna score. This game was scoreless, yes, but if we repeat this kind of attacking, we're gonna score, and we're more probably than not we're gonna win this way. I don't know if you guys watched the. I think it was the post match against Atletico, the preview match for Real Sociedad, when Carleto said that, yeah, we don't have a starting, or sorry, a game mind. Like, we play to win, and we
Yeah.
don't have a book, a recipe for that. But if we're gonna have one, I think with these players is this: everyone moves, everyone defend, everyone attack, everyone understand with each other. Because once again, um, what make us great in the past was an understanding with like Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric, and those three understand perfectly. I mean, they're gone. Casemiro is gone, and Luca and Tony, um, they're still here, but it's not the same. But I think the attack could be those three. Like this Rodrigo can understand with this Benzema, and Bini and Rodrigo understand perfectly. And then we can add someone like Fede, and then we can add someone like everyone. I mean, I'm very excited with this lineup because everyone speaks the same game. Every single player speaks football and attacking football. Even our goalkeeper, it's he didn't mind that he received a goal. I think if we score three, he's gonna be mad at himself. But I don't know. This is the way. Like, I mean, this is the mindset that we need for the next months to attack and move everyone.
The funny thing is, Javier, the funny thing is that, yeah, like all this sounds pretty sexy on paper. I'm not gonna lie. Like what I saw on the pitch tonight was very, very good. But I feel like it's also down to the fact that Carlo basically he took the handbrakes off. Basically, he allowed the team to express itself and kind of move along the way how play developed. That's what I feel like. But in higher pressure games where things are higher at stake, I'll see Carlo going back to what has worked for him so well in the past, which is being conservative and, yeah, man, asking players to do very specific jobs. I think that's gonna be the case when we go to Anfield. A
I'm not
very
sure, Tony. I'm not sure.
Are you kidding me? Like,
I
We
think
will
that's
see.
I,
gonna be,
I mean, the key piece that is missing is Chouameni. So
yeah.
that guy is starting. So if he's on, who you're gonna drop?
no,
I said it. I will drop Kroos and Modric and start with Ceballos and Camavinga. But I agree with you. If Chouameni is on, for sure it's gonna be Tony or Modric. But it's gonna work because everything works for Carlo. Because in that game they're gonna outperform everyone. And
Jacob,
it's
you
not
had something to
lucky,
say.
it's not luck. He understands the game better than anyone. That's the only reason that he's the manager of Real Madrid and we're fans. It's one of the reasons.
yeah, it's not luck, and I wouldn't say it's like purely like a tactical genius thing that Ancelotti does. It's just that we have such good players that no matter what happens and no matter what tactics you put them in, like once they're motivated, they can do anything.
Absolutely.
He predicts
And
the future.
the motivation on a day like tonight, when the onus is on us and we clearly expect to get the job versus a high pressure game in the Champions League away at a place like Anfield will be different. The motivation will be, like 10 folds higher, which translates to these guys balling on the pitch. I hope all these, take form into something that we can touch, into something that we can hold tangible. Like I don't want to be in a place like how Liverpool was, the also rans, the almost quadruple season and whatnot. Like I don't want to ride those kind of waves. I'm here to win trophies and win at all costs. Like I don't give a fuck about how we play. Like Farouk does, like I'm not that guy. I just want to win. Period. But yeah, man, let's move on to the subs. Very late, Carlo. When you look at the bench, Asensio, yes, you can have a shout, but Modric going by the past few games, he hasn't looked a bit like himself. So I kind of got why Carlo took so long to bring on the subs. But yeah, man, Asensio and Modric, Jacob, your thoughts?
Um, I wasn't too impressed by both of those things. Like they didn't bring anything different to the pitch. Like with Asensio,
Modric should have shot the ball. Like I don't know why he basically,
through
he
what
expected someone to magically appear and knock the ball in. That's asking for too much. asking for too much.
And it wasn't just that particular chance. He misplaced a couple of passes. He didn't take the right decision in multiple sequences of play. You remember, like he had to go to the opponent's touchline, and then he tried to cut the ball back, and then he basically lost it. So he had
Yeah.
moments like that where he did dumb stuff, and I feel like he needs a couple more games to get back into the match sharpness. So can't wait for the World Cup, Club World Cup to roll around, and then Modric getting some minutes in.
Javier.
Well, I think this is one of the probably the first game of the season that I was like in the 75 minutes, and I was thinking like, okay, what is the substitution? Like so often I was like, oh, this is Rodrigo time, or this is Fede time, or you know. But I was like, who else? I
There's
mean,
nobody else.
yeah,
That's
the
the thing.
chat is saying that why isn't Mariano today? But I mean, they're joking, but they're not joking, because if the substitution in attacking position was Mariano and Hazard, that basically don't count. Yeah, the only logical substitutions was Asensio and Modric, and those two are great. Don't get me wrong. But the only reason that they come up today, it was because Ceballos and Fede were tired. You know, they're they didn't bring anything special. They can potentially do it.
I thought Asensio was better than Modric at least. Like at least he tried to combine down the right a bit more and kind of tried to play a few balls into the box and stuff like that. The
but
usual.
he was better than Modric, but he was better than Fede or better than Ceballos.
No,
No.
no, no.
So, but they could potentially be. Don't get me wrong, and don't come at me on the chat. I mean, Doris, don't kill me. I love Modric, but today was
That's the funny thing. When the rumors came out that like someone big is gonna leave, I thought I mentioned it in the group chat as well. Like I think Cruz was gonna leave, but now it seems like it's Modric who is looking to leave. I don't get it. Like it's hard for me to take. I understand how life goes, but like I feel like Modric has a few more special games, especially in the Champions League with us remaining this season. Like I hope he can get back to his very best.
and
He
on
has
that
he
note,
has been playing way too much, way too much.
I have uh, I just came up with a thought that I have in the game. Uh, it's not a bad thing that now Ceballos is the starting man and not Modric. Don't get me wrong, Modric is a true legend of the game. I love him. I expect him to be here for a lifetime. But if you are gonna rely on someone, I think it's better to rely on someone that is 26 and no 37. I
Yeah.
mean, Modric came to Real Madrid when he was Ceballos' age, and
Yeah.
what a career has Modric had. It's impressive. A Ballon d'Or,
I saw that.
Champions
I
League.
saw that in Twitter. But
So
the morons who compare the timeline and the career path of Modric and Ceballos.
I mean, I don't think Ceballos is ever gonna be at the level of Modric. Don't get me
If
wrong.
you guys used to watch Modric at Tottenham, you'll actually know how different these guys are.
I
Ceballos is a
know.
good midfielder.
But
Modric is someone
I mean,
generation.
in the terms of age, only
Yeah.
pure age.
Mm.
On, I think the best Modric has passed. He can get glimpses of it, but
Not sure,
consistency. No, I mean,
It's not
I would love to be wrong, but the
See,
consistency.
I'm actually telling you as a guy who was one of the most vocal advocates for our midfield to be scrapped last season. The infamous "they don't have legs" quote came from my mouth. Basically, I didn't believe that our midfield wouldn't be capable enough. But look what happened. Look what happened in the last 3 months of the season. So I still believe Modric is going to show up in big moments.
I know I'm truly agree with you, but I think that I'm saying is I I still can rely even more than Modric on the Champions League final, even more than Ceballos in this moment. But if I have 10 games, I would put Ceballos on 9 of those. Why? Because he's at this moment in his career is more consistent. He's not better. He will never be better, but more consistent. And we need consistency. For a in a season, you need consistency. You know, glimpses are good, and the height of Modric, I can never see. I think I was on Reddit yesterday, and they just said like, who is the best midfield in Real Madrid history? And Modric won, and I completely agree with them. But we we need to start thinking on okay,
Yes.
yeah,
We need to
he's
have
going
a
to be the best, yeah, but he's still the fact that is
it's
he's
good, it's good in a way because we need to have a succession plan in place, which is i.e., like Chouameni for Casemiro and probably Bellingham for Modric and whatnot, but that's for the summer. But at least for this season, and to actually light a fire beneath Modric's ass, is basically Ceballos basically, playing out of his skin and really pushing him into the bench. And
yeah.
probably that would basically, like motivate Modric to gain back his form. But Jacob, man, like final thoughts on Modric. Like, do you think he's gonna come back and come back clutch before the end of the season?
This season, I'm not so sure because this was a World Cup
Mhm.
season, and then he has a lot of minutes in his game. Like that wasn't the case last season when he managed to actually switch it on in this later part of the season because he didn't play as much in the first half
But
of the
we
season.
are actually rotating him pretty well now. Can't you agree with that?
I would say like he was partly injured, and then he had a dead muscle injury.
Yeah.
Like and then
Yes.
he isn't fully fit yet.
It's circumstantial, but he's getting rest as of late.
Yeah,
uh, Being injured and resting is not the same, but I would say like he is not.
It's a mixture of both.
Yeah, he is not match sharp yet. He is
Yeah.
not ready to
Yeah.
play the full 90 currently.
Yes.
And give him like a month or two. If I believe he can perform to his levels of last season. Maybe not
Mhm.
not to the levels of like 2 or 3 seasons before that, but last season is certainly possible with this guy.
yeah.
Well, we'll keep this thread open. Modric. I think the jury is still out. People are getting restless about his situation, but I truly, truly, truly believe that Modric is going to have a big, big say whether we're going to, come off this season empty-handed or come off this season with maybe a trouble. You never know. You never know. Um, yeah, man, the subs out of the way. I like the last EP. I wanted to leave this one for the last. Thibaut again, whenever called upon, solid, solid AF. It's been a long, long time since I've never really questioned the goalkeeper's performances. Like it's an afterthought almost now. Javier Thibaut is expected to give an 8 and 9 every game.
It's 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 the best goalkeeper in the world. As easy as that. I I I cannot watch him and say like even when Casillas or even Cater, I think like, oh, they're probably gonna make a mistake, here and there. But Thibaut Thibaut rarely make a mistake, and when he's in his like mm, perfect form,
Yeah,
I think he's probably the best player in Real Madrid.
that's a very good point. Like the the amount of games I've seen this season that where the team doesn't look like it gives an ass. It's basically Thibaut who is single-handedly, like making sure the points uh, that we gain from the game remains at 3 and not get reduced to 1. So Thibaut always has a huge say in how our performances turn out. He I'll tell you, I was a huge doubter of Thibaut, but the more I see him play, it's almost like it's a blessing that like we sometimes undermine. Honestly, we sometimes take for granted because our defense is a shambles apart from Militao at this moment in time. And yeah, man, like if it wasn't Thibaut, I'm pretty sure we concede one of those chances, at least the Kubo chance, in the second half. Javier, Thibaut. Do you think he has a strong case for best player of the season so far?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, who else? For the first probably 4 months, it was probably Fede. But if you move to the next part of the season, I will say, yeah, probably Thibaut. And I was watching a few, uh, images of the Clásico, sorry, the derby. And before the game starts, on the back of the Thibaut's goalkeeper was a huge amount of Atleticos fans, and they were screaming at him. And he only to move towards them and kiss the badge of Real Madrid badge. And that's it. That's the Thibaut way, like probably Casillas is not gonna make that, or Keylor for sure he's not gonna be that, but Thibaut's a rock star, like he loves to be a goalkeeper. He loves to
He
be,
he loves to be a villain. That's for sure. He
yeah.
loves playing the villain. So,
And we said like, do you remember? I think it was us three, and in a game from September, October, I don't remember, when Thibaut outspoke into the journalist like, we defend like shit.
yes,
He
yeah,
didn't say any name, but I mean, he was like at Militao or Rudiger. I don't remember, but
very blunt.
I think Carleto even said like, "Oh, I need to talk to Thibaut or so." But the fact is, and I say like, he's not wrong. He may
Yeah,
be an asshole, but he's not wrong. And if you are gonna be the goalkeeper of the biggest team in the world, I would prefer you to be an asshole and
yeah,
to be like
absolutely.
this hot-blooded guy, you know?
The greatest goalkeepers always, like I mean, Casillas is an exception. I watched Casillas towards the latter stages of his career. He was in the twilight of his career, so maybe a younger Casillas had a bit more bite, but
No,
all
not really.
great goalkeepers like they have a nasty side to them. Oliver Kahn is a great example. Peter Schmeichel was one of the you know very well known antagonists of the modern game. Thibaut has that in him, so I completely understand your viewpoint that how Thibaut is that guy who kind of riles up our opponents. It's really funny to see, especially with Atleti and all the history that he had over there. It's funny. It's funny. But yeah, man, I guess we are coming to the end of this post-match reaction. I'm gonna just run through a few comments. Lol, lol, lol. He said earlier, Javier is right. Chouameni is a missing piece. I think Carlo will keep the style of attack, 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 which is actually classic Carlo. The defensive Carlo happened once Mendy was injured for 5 months. I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. Like I did appreciate the wins that we got against all odds last season in the Champions League, but being second best in every fucking minute of the game is not fun to watch. It's not an easy watch. I hope that we kind of take much more initiative and take the game to our opponents. Starting from Anfield, man. Yeah, Jacob, any final thoughts?
Um, I don't think this is gonna happen. I think we're gonna revert back to having 11 men behind the ball, but
Jacob gets it. Jacob knows his thing.
it's unfortunate, but it's what works, man. Like, you get your defense right, you can probably like nick a goal here and there and win the Champions League. So yeah, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Javier, any last thoughts?
Yeah, what not a thought. If you guys allow me, I I have to make a shout out to a few friends of mine. But if you don't mind, I'm gonna do it in Spanish.
Go
So,
ahead.
hola, ¿cómo están? Como es la primera vez que hablo en español en el podcast, así que se me olvida de repente cambiar el idioma, pero hola Dash, hola Mau, Javiera, Grecia, muchas gracias por suscribirse y por aquí estamos. All right, guys.
Hola to all of Javier's friends. Buenas noches. Is that the way how we do it? And I'm still brushing up on my Spanish, so yeah, bear with me, people.
It's perfect.
Ancelotti says Alaba, Chouameni, and Carvajal will return to play next game. So that's good news. That's good news to wind up the EP. That's big news. Especially Chouameni being back in the midfield.
Valencia,
Kind of
right?
Huh?
Yeah, it is
Valencia
against
is the next
Valencia.
game.
Yeah.
At home, yes, back-to-back games at home. So yeah, it's gonna be a big one. Big one. We can't afford to lose any more points.
Tomorrow
Uh,
is the
Copa del Rey draw.
right. So
Bilbao, Barcelona, Osasuna. Who do you fancy?
who I I would like to face off against Bilbao,
Mm,
if you ask me, but I think it's gonna be Bilbao. I love to, and it's um, two games, right, in the
yeah,
semifinal.
2 legs.
Oh, so yeah, I think Bilbao is a great match, and it's gonna be probably them because I think Barcelona is gonna get the easier one. So
Okay, fair, fair, fair. Osasuna, yeah, man, like when you said Bilbao, I think I would prefer Bilbao as well because Osasuna would be a much tougher opponent, much more defensively solid, shall I say. But yeah, Jacob, update us on when we'll be having a preview. Would it be on Tuesday or would it be tomorrow?
God knows, man. I'm never good at this stuff with scheduling stuff, but yeah, let's aim it for Tuesday, I guess. Seems like a
Fair
good day
enough.
to have
This
a
guy's
preview.
slacking, people. You know what to do. This guy's slacking. It's on me. Like I try to do my best to get this guy's to schedule stuff. But yeah, if you haven't already turned on the notification bells on, please turn it on so that you guys get to know whenever we schedule an episode. But yeah, shout out to our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. Do check them out. They run a fabulous Real Madrid fan page. Yeah, almost like around 40-50 people of you were here in the chat. Much love for the love. It's truly humbling to see because it's been a steady climb since we first started doing this. Yeah, if you haven't smashed the like button, yeah, go ahead and smash it, man. It doesn't cost anything. And yeah, also uh, subscribe to us. We have content all throughout the year, everything Real Madrid, all in one place. Yeah, Ashik also says doesn't matter who we get in the semis, we'll destroy them all. We have Lord Mariano. Yes, hail Mariano. A well-rested Mariano. Oof, that'll be a very scary proposition indeed. But yeah, man, hope you guys have a good night. Not the result we wanted, but lots of positives to take from a performance that we can be proud of. If we are drawing a game, dropping 2 points, I think it's better this way, rather than going out on a limp. So on that note, on to better days. Hala Madrid.
Hala
Real
Madrid.
Madrid.